I don't know what you have to say about Cam Ward, but, to me, I've never been that high on Cam Ward, but I've always defended him because I said, look, I didn't think he was, going to be this generational quarterback at pick one. But I always thought he had talent coming out of Miami. You see it in his size and his little Mahomes playmaking ability. And I thought yesterday was maybe the best game of his career. Looked really solid. He had the awful pick, but a few touchdowns. Don't look at Cleveland's record. They might have one of the better defenses in the league, especially the guy we were just talking about, Myles Garrett's about to shatter the sack record. And it's freezing cold if you've ever been to Cleveland. It's the type of cold where you stub a toe, you're in pain for the whole game. And he looked pretty good. Also at his run game. But, people giving up on Cam Ward early because he plays for the Titans. Plays for the Titans. His wide receiver's out. His teammates aren't good. And his coach is canned. But that was probably the best Cam Ward game of the season. And it's pretty promising, going into the next year.
You took the words right out of my mouth, man. I mean, I was going to go right to Cam Ward after we were done with the Browns here. Cam Ward gets no coverage, but he's been really impressive all year, all things considered. No quarterback is walking into Tennessee right now and doing anything with the roster. I don't care who it is. Even Lamar, even Josh Allen. I find it hard to believe that these quarterbacks would do much with the roster. Cam Ward, as a rookie, has a pretty elite highlight tape. There have been some lows this season for sure, but that's expected as a young QB. But if you compiled all his best passes of the year, it would be hard to differentiate them from some of the best that do it. He has an elite talent of an NFL arm. It's just a consistency thing and getting him the pieces around him to actually make a formidable playoff team. That's what it's going to be. Nobody should have expected Cam Ward to change this franchise if nothing else was done. You need so many pieces around him, but I think he's the franchise guy until proven otherwise. Same thing as Shedeur. I don't think there's a point in writing him off. I don't think there's a point in slandering him with where he's at. That was an impressive game to me. I see him make some passes, Steve. I've seen it all year long, and they'll kind of pop up game after game where you're just like, wow, he can do that. He's got the ability to do that. He's got the ability to make some pretty elite passes over the middle that a guy like Jalen Hurts hasn't made in a pretty long time. And obviously, I don't want to go back to slandering Hurts here, but I just want to reemphasize the fact that Cam Ward was the number one overall draft pick, and he gets no coverage because he's a quiet guy, keeps to himself. He's very much the opposite of Shedeur, which is fine. But, I think he deserves a little bit more credit, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say he deserves a lot more grace on this season. Calvin Ridley out for the year. I can't even pronounce half the receivers. I'm looking at this, these stats on ESPN. I'm not even going down this list. Who are these guys? That's who the Titans threw their number one pick quarterback in day one with. And Tony Pollard had a heck of a game, and he deserves a lot of credit too because he hasn't been really running all that hot all season, which hasn't helped Cam Ward. But listen, a lot of the things that Cam Ward has done this season that people might not like, remember he's playing for the Titans. He's got no one to throw to. You just got to watch how he plays. Don't worry about who catches the ball. Don't worry about what down it is because his team's putting him on third and long. Just watch how he throws the ball, how he's moving around. That's going to translate better to next year when hopefully Tennessee gives him the more help. Again, when Cam Ward was drafted number one, I was never high on Cam Ward. I actually thought Shedeur was the better quarterback. This is not a hindsight take. I was always on as a Shedeur guy that Shedeur is the best quarterback in the draft. Although I thought Shedeur, even as the best quarterback, none of those guys should have went number one. I didn't think any of them were number one worthy. But I did say, though, listen, in the preseason when people were kind of on Cam Ward, like, I don't know, like, hey, he's going to have receivers who drop balls. He's going to have an offensive line that just brings him to the ground. He's going to have running backs who run up the middle for -5 yards. This is what he's going to have to deal with in his first season, and he's probably going to lose his coach. Let's see him next year with an improved receiving core, hopefully a better offensive line, definitely a new head coach in there and not an interim. And we're going to see a Cam Ward who brings more down the field and more explosiveness to this offense.